All right, guys, welcome to Patches and Prayers, our bi-monthly Research Symposium webinar. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Hubbard. I am excited to welcome you to our second installment of what we believe is an amazing way to understand Lifewave technology and the understanding of the science of photobiomodulation. I am going to pass the mic to our host and facilitator this evening, Mr. Cedric Tapscott.
Good morning to our folks in the Philippines and good evening to our North American group. My name is Cedric Tapscott, and it's my pleasure to be part of Patches and Prayers. What we've done is we started a program that would engage individuals not only about the patches and the miracle of the patches, but also touch their spirituality. So what we achieve to do with this is to, I think someone is on the background, but anyway, what we plan to do with this is on our every other month basis is to present the patches and how they perform and the different ways that they work for you. And then at the same time, we want to connect with your spirituality. And that's what we believe in also, that there's definitely the miracle of the patches working with you, but there's also the miracle of the spirituality working within us as well. So what we want to do now is we're going to pass the mic over to Miss Jocelyn, and she's going to explain a little bit about the patches, and then we'll be right back. And so what we're going to ask folks is that while you're waiting, if you could keep your device on mute, and then when you want to speak, then we'll always acknowledge you or whatever. But because could be some background that we don't want to interfere with the presentation. So if you could just everyone put their mic on mute until accordingly. Thank you so much. And here's Ms. Jocelyn.
Thank you so much, Cedric, Dr. Jeff. I wasn't expecting this. It's a very surprise impromptu thing. But I wanna I just let everybody know who doesn't know me yet. My name is Jocelyn Axena. I'm a nurse here in Canada. I actually finished nursing back in the Philippines, in central Philippines, Iloilo, and then came to Canada in 1993 and continued my nursing practice here. So I'm actually working on holistic nursing right now, and that is my passion. I was introduced to Lifewave in April 2020. And the first thing that I heard from my sponsor that really caught my attention was about a patch that is non-transdermal, no medication, and it's a light therapy and stem cell activator. So that sold me right away, because I know light therapy is the source of healing from like ancient history, and the future of healthcare is with stem cells. So I jumped right away. And then the first time I tried the patches on, which is X39, which is the stem cell activator, it did work with me that like within an hour. I had a really severe sleeping disorder that it did help me have a quality sleep that time. And then I woke up feeling refreshed with all the energy I didn't have since I had like my child like 18 years ago. So anyway, so after that I started I want to experience all the patches that we have, and I started researching on everything. So the first thing that I research on is about the technology, which is called the photobiomodulation. So photobiomodulation means that photo, which means light, and biomodulation is changes in your body through that light. According to Albert Einstein, the future of medicine is the frequency medicine. So, light, low level light frequency, and which is what we have right now. So, I just want to, we have about 12 patches now, different patches. And one actually right now is being launched this afternoon, which is the X39, X49. So that is very powerful, and in combination with the X39, both of them are stem cell activator, but it stimulates different amino acids in your body, right? So it's very powerful. If you're gonna look into the GHK copper peptide, which is the amino acid that X39 is stimulating, once your body have enough GHK copper peptide, then it starts activating your damaged stem cells. So just imagine that, rejuvenating your damaged stem cells. And same thing with the AHK copper peptide, which is being stimulated by the X49 patch that is being launched right now. So what clinical studies from the most current X49, they are working with your muscle mass that is being wasted as you grow, as you age, right? So it's working with that muscle mass, and it's also with your bone density. So working, both of them working together, it has a synergistic effect, the X39 and X49. That's why they are called the performance bundle. But aside from that, our patches started with energy enhancer. Energy enhancer was started. Sorry, our dog is so loud. Yeah, it started in the technology started in 2002, but Lifewave company started in 2004, and that's when energy enhancer was really introduced to the world. In the US, the Olympic swimmers did use energy enhancer in 2004 and did a lot of they beat the previous records and so on. That's a lot of information, or a lot of record was broken. They were in the news and stuff like that. But ever since after that, a lot of athletes like David Beckham, Serena Williams are using our energy enhancer. But at the same time, our patches, aside from it being doing photobiomodulation, using the light therapy, it also uses the principles of ancient Chinese medicine. So ancient Chinese medicine, which is really, this is just so powerful, because we have something that is so advanced, it's science-based, but it also uses the ancient principles of healing, which is the Chinese medicine. And in Chinese medicine, it's about the energy flow. So it works with your meridians. That's why our patches, we put them in acupressure points. So having the ancient and the future, like well advanced technology together, is just a very powerful together. So anyways, I'm just so passionate about these patches, because there's just so much testimonials that we've seen, and it does help a lot of people without the use of any medication that can cause some adverse reactions, right? And is causing some more damage to your body instead. So we have other patches, Ice Wave, that works. We've seen testimonials. I've patched people using Ice Wave that in 3 seconds, less than a minute, the pain goes away. Like, for example, my mother in the group as well, she had frozen shoulder for over 2 years, and in just like one patch, 3 seconds later, it went away. and it went away with just one patch for about 5 months. So just one patching, it went away for 5 months. So just imagine that. We also have the YH trio, which is the glutathione, carnosine, and Aeon. So all three of them, if you're gonna look into what they do, like glutathione, master antioxidants, Dr. Ami did a wonderful presentation last time about it. Just the benefits that it can do to us, right? Same thing with Aeon, and carnosine is so powerful. Anyways, I don't have a lot of time to explain that, and I'm sure Dr. Hubbard will do other presentation next time, but carnosine is so powerful. All three of them, trio, are really good helping with chronic inflammation, which leads to chronic diseases and so on. So yeah, so our patches, we have aloe vera for skin health, but aside from skin health, it does help with hormone balancing. Same thing with SP6 Complete. It is being used for like as a complement for exercise and craving and weight loss, but at the same time, it also helps with hormone balancing. What did I miss? Silent Night. Silent Night helps activate, stimulate, or what you call this? I'm losing some words here. The Silent Night would kind of like stimulate melatonin, which is also an antioxidant, but it would help with your quality sleep, in which like quality sleep is very important because when we sleep, we do healing, right? So anyways, our patches, of course, if you have some horses as well, we do have AcuLife, which is very powerful, AcuLife. So I don't know what else to say, Dr. Jeff. I think that's good enough. In a like impromptu. Thank you so much, Cedric and Dr. Jeff. Thank you, everyone.
All righty, Jocelyn, thank you so much. We did put her on the spot, everyone. So she came through like a trooper. So we sure appreciate you giving us that overview, Jocelyn. And if you didn't know, folks, you know now. You have a brief overview of what the patches will do. And then, so what we're gonna do now is get into our presenter. And I have a few things that I have written out, but I just wanted to say this first of all, is that Dr. Hubbard is just, and I want to put this in layman's term, he's just one smart, passionate dude. He grew up in Houston, Texas, and he saw his passion for medicine came from his upbringing, seeing that he grew up in an underserved community. So one of the things that he wanted to do was to study medicine, but to also go back and practice it with I want to say with emotions, with excitement, with passion to do what he does. So he is a medical concierge, medical physician, he's a researcher, he's an entrepreneur, and his quest for medicine is long-term effects for people who have poor diet, stress, unhealthy lifestyle, habits of living. So what he does is make sure that individuals who have a poor quality of life, he tries to uplift them and bring them into a state of being healthy. We always say health and wellness. Well, what wellness means is well-being. So what he likes to do and what he attempts to do is make sure that the community he serves is in a state of well-being. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce our colleague, a friend, our mentor, and my little cousin, Jeffrey Hubbard. So anyway, take it away, Dr. Hubbard.
Oh man, thank you for that warm introduction, Cedric. I really greatly appreciate it. Guys, I've prepared a presentation for you guys today, and I hope that it's edifying and you can learn a little bit more about this magical patch that we call Aeon. And so let me just start by saying, Jocelyn and I actually found out about Lifewave around the same time. I've been utilizing this technology both personally and professionally for 2+ years. I was introduced Valentine's Day 2020. So, we were in the midst of the pandemic and so many different things were happening. And a close colleague of mine phoned me and said, Dr. Jeff, you've got to see this. Come over to my place. I'm going to feed you some lunch and we're going to talk about this. And I remember looking at the documentation and the brochures, and it piqued my interest. And I really started to do some digging on exactly what this technology was and all of this background on photobiomodulation, which I had no clue about at the time. And what really sold me was not the X39, but it was actually the Aeon, and I'll tell you why. In my engagement with patients, clients, et cetera, I am always on the hunt for different technologies that provide natural solutions to complex problems. And previously, I was introduced to a technology that began to observe or observes the autonomic nervous system's function. All right. And we'll get into more detail, but as I started to read the reports and the clinical trials on Aeon, it talked about the same functions and markers that I look at when I evaluate somebody's stress level and what's happening with their autonomic nervous system. And I thought that was just dynamic. I was really excited about that. And I'm like, wow, here's something that I can recommend to my clients, to my patients, when their nervous system is not functioning properly, when their stress level is inappropriate. And so I just really got excited. And so Aeon is actually what reeled me in. And then obviously all the other patches really sold me on Lifewave and just adjusting your lifestyle using this amazing technology, right? So today I present to you Aeon, a natural way to address stress. So first of all, guys, let's really talk about this. What are the health challenges that we face as a human race, right? Unfortunately, I think some of our approaches in traditional healthcare are a bit antiquated. What do I mean by that? This quote by F.J. Schmidt is really powerful to me. It says, health problems are like plants. You got to get to the roots in order to prevent them from popping up again. And I think that's just so powerful because we spend a lot of time in hospitals and clinics addressing symptoms, addressing problems, addressing how our problems are manifesting in our body, and not exactly what we're doing to create those problems in the first place. And that's what I really love about this technology, is that it begins to address things at the root. And here's what I mean by that. Is stress silently killing you? I think this is something that we all can appreciate, is that stress is such a huge, stress is such a huge issue and a huge problem. I don't actually think that we fully appreciate how problematic stress is in our life. Primarily because stress is something that likely you can't avoid. You have to deal with it. It's a daily complicated thing that you have to deal with, and you have to understand how to manage it. And so that's what I really love about the Aeon, is that it's one really powerful way to go about addressing your stress level and reducing it. All right. There's so many different other methods that people suggest or that people just utilize to reduce stress, and all of them are not healthy. But the beautiful part about Lifewave and Photobiomodulation is that there's really no additional things that you put the body through. The body focuses and functions like it normally does, even if you're wearing the patches. The patches simply enhance what your body's going through and improve the issues that you may be having. All right, so let's just kind of break this down. I created this diagram so that everyone can understand how stress and the various other areas of our life that are contributing to poor health outcomes. All right, so I've titled this the disease development pathway. Okay, so when our diet is not good and our exercise is not appropriate, that automatically begins to create an inflammatory response in our body. And it begins to create what we know as autonomic nervous system dysfunction. And we'll break that down a little bit more as we continue through our discussion today. But it's so interesting because we treat our bodies in a way that is baffling to me. We treat our cars actually better than we treat our bodies. So think about this. If you had a brand new Mercedes and it requires diesel gasoline, and you pull up to the tank, to the gas station, and you put in unleaded gasoline, you're not going to get very far. The engine is not going to respond. The fuel injection is not going to work, and you're going to have all kinds of complications with your engine. However, as human beings, we tend to eat certain things that are not necessarily good for us, when the effort should be to fuel our bodies the same way you fuel your cars. And so if you add into that poor lifestyle habits, say for instance, you smoke, say for instance, you have uncontrollable issues as far as weight gain and various other things, there's contributing to this same sort of increase in inflammation and changes in your nervous system. In addition to that, you've got several degrees of stress. You've got mental stress, you've got stress on your cells and your organs, and you've got physical stress, all right? And so if you add all of these things up, you find that you are out of balance. And homeostasis is what we call physiological balance. And when homeostasis is not achievable or is not what you experience on a daily basis, that is the recipe for pathological disease or the progression of these various different diseases. And so you start to have buildup of plaque in your arteries, your organs start to function in ways that they're not supposed to, and you're not able to supply your body with oxygen and nutrients and the things that really make it go, all right? And so in summary, poor diet, stress, and lack of exercise, it alters our normal way that our physiology works. And over time, it's going to lead to these chronic diseases that we see most oftentimes, heart disease, kidney disease, issues with our liver, autoimmune challenges, challenges with our metabolism and diabetes, et cetera. And all of these things are just so problematic. And it's not just here in the United States, it's everywhere, roughly. And so this is something that we really need to internalize and understand exactly what's happening and how these diseases are happening in the first place. All right, so how does Aeon tackle your stress? 4 specific ways. 1, it increases healthy brain molecules. So it raises our serotonin levels. Serotonin is actually a molecule that is designed to help us be happy, all right? And so you'll notice that if you consistently wear the Aeon, you start to feel more comfortable, more relaxed, less anxious, et cetera. Secondly, it increases our neurotransmitter production. So specifically dopamine. Dopamine is another really powerful molecule that helps our body to function in ways that we need it to. It really acts on the heart. It acts upon smooth muscle. and it helps us to slow down and calm down. Other key amino acids and molecules have been shown to increase when people wear the Aeon. They help with antioxidants. They help to improve the way that our system function. We'll get a little bit more into that as well. Thirdly, it nurtures your immune system and helps to create detoxification. And as we talked about, when we're maybe not living the best lifestyle, we're maybe not eating the best food, we may not be taking care of our bodies the way that we need to or that we should be, detox is really, really very helpful in getting us back to that homeostatic balance, okay? And the fourth, and probably the most important, is it engages your parasympathetic nervous system. And we'll outline that in quite a bit of detail as we continue. But that's what I really love about this product, is that it helps to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. And that is the opposite end of the spectrum from where most people are when they're stressed. So if you're a type A personality and you've always got the pedal to the metal, you go, 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 you have challenges sleeping, you have challenges relaxing, you have challenges with anxiety, parasympathetic stimulation is a great way to address that. And so here are the hallmark locations for how you wear the Eon, as Jocelyn mentioned, that acupuncture locations are so valuable and another really awesome component of this system that brings your body into homeostatic balance and begins to address these issues that you may be having. So conception vessel 6, you see, is underneath the navel. Governing vessel 14 is on the back of the neck. Kidney 3 is on the inside of the ankle, just posterior to the medial malleolus. Large intestine 4 is found in the webbing between your thumb and index finger, and liver 3 is going to be on the top of your right foot, all right, in between the first and second bone. All right, so let's just break this down. What is our nervous system and how does it work? Why are we talking about this parasympathetic nervous system? What exactly does it do? All right, so the nervous system is basically broken down into 2 divisions. You have your central nervous system, which is kind of housed in our cranium, which is our brain, and down our spinal column, which is our spinal cord, all right? So billions, trillions of neurons located in this particular brain tissue, and it handles all of our high functioning components. And then we have our peripheral nervous system, which are the nerves that project out from the brain and spinal cord and actually interact with the world. All right. So on one side of the peripheral nervous system, we have somatic activity, which is our voluntary system. So movement and speech and all of those good things are determined by the somatic division. Also, we receive stimuli from the somatic division with our actual feelings. So if you touching yourself or you're engaging with something in the world that we live in, all of that information is delivered to the central nervous system through the somatic peripheral nervous system. All right. On the other side, this is the really cool part about the peripheral nervous system, is that some of it is on autopilot, right? And we call it autonomic, which simply means that these things have been determined by God to need their own way of functioning. Now, think about that. What are some things that would be an absolute chore to do if you had to do that amongst all the other things that we do? For example, your heartbeat. If you had to tell your heart to beat throughout the day, can you imagine how challenging that would be to try to tell your heart to beat on a regular schedule and do your job or drive a car or make dinner or whatever the case may be? it would be extremely challenging. In addition, most of our gastrointestinal function is maintained by the autonomic nervous system as well. So in general, it's defined as the involuntary movement of smooth muscle and glands, all right? So let's dive into this a little bit more. On the sympathetic side of things, this is what we call fight or flight. That is what its normally is referred to as. And these things are what happen when we are revved up and we believe that there is maybe danger or there is some level of stress and things that that we need to respond to. So I like to think of it or respond to it as, or refer to it as having a pit bull run into the room. All right. I think everybody would be nervous and concerned about this pit bull trying to attack you. So as you can see here, your pupils dilate. You have no need for saliva, so your mouth gets dry. You relax your bronchi, which means that you are allowing yourself to take in more air and more oxygen. Your heart rate increases. There's no need for digestion in your stomach or in any of your gastrointestinal organs, so they begin to slow down. Your liver produces glucose because now you need that sugar to prepare for whatever physical activity you may need to possess to rid yourself of this dog or get away from this dog. Your kidneys are going to secrete adrenaline. And again, that revs you up in preparation for this fight that you may have with the dog. You're not as concerned about urination, so your bladder relaxes, as well as your reproductive organs, they are going to relax as well. But interestingly, during ejaculation or an orgasm, this is the division that handles that. On the other side of the coin, parasympathetic activity. So after the owner of the dog comes in and you recognize that he's not dangerous, he's actually very friendly, and him barking at you was just him trying to get your attention. He puts him on the leash and he takes him out. You're starting to relax. You're starting to go into what we refer to as rest or digest. That is the exact opposite of what we described in the sympathetic side. The parasympathetic side, now your pupils come back to normal. Now your saliva and gastrointestinal function begins to resume. Your lungs come back to normal because you don't need as much oxygen and airflow. You're not going to be running or doing anything active. Your heart rate slows down. Your blood pressure comes down. Your digestive system is responding. All of the hormones that you release are becoming metabolized, and your liver begins to store and do the things that it was doing before. And then your bladder returns to to its normal function as well. So Aeon is responsible for promoting the health and the improvement of the parasympathetic nervous system to make sure that you're not overdoing it in regards to all of those various different organs and systems and how they work. So there's checks and balances in this system. So if you rev up, you should come back down. If you're too low, you should come back up. And so there should just be a healthy balance between the two. The problems occur when one is over dominant and the other is not able to recover and bring balance. And that's what seems to happen in our chronic disease issues. And so if we can address and find out what's happening and why your autonomic nervous system may or may not be functioning properly ahead of time, we can prevent some of these chronic disease states from happening. So what is that called when you have your autonomic nervous system is not functioning properly. It's called autonomic dysfunction. And this is simply a medical term to refer to an imbalance between the two divisions of the nervous system and what happens to the body as a result. All right, so just some examples. So neurologically in the brain, it could be challenges with your coordination. It could be challenges with your reflexes. It could be challenges with your balance. Those are some examples of what autonomic dysfunction happens in the brain. In the heart, you can have the heart muscle is so interesting, and you can imagine it's pumping all the time. But if the muscle gets too big, it can prevent the proper function of the heart. You can also have high blood pressure, and the challenges to the heart when you have high blood pressure are really significant. You can also experience low blood pressure. You can experience passing out. You can experience all sorts of challenges with your blood pressure based upon what we call positional changes. So if you go from laying down to standing up and your heart rate does not compensate, you could pass out. If you have a really big meal, that could throw off your cardiovascular function and things like that. In regards to the colon and the intestines, the gastrointestinal tract, typically autonomic dysfunction looks like constipation or obstipation, which many may not know. Obstipation is when you can't have a bowel movement. It's not that it slows down or is less than normal. You completely can't go. And it's almost has the same symptoms as an obstruction. All right. All sorts of issues with circulation, changes with your sleep. Some people can have issues with thermoregulation. They can find themselves perspiring at the wrong times or not perspiring. Your kidneys are so important in this process. They are regulating your blood pressure and regulating your fluid volume and so on and so forth. So you can have urgency and frequency of urination. You can have really poor urination while you sleep. You can have incontinence and many other things. And finally, impotence and sexual dysfunction are some of the most early detectors of cardiovascular challenges or changes to your nervous system. And so it's really important, gentlemen, to get evaluated if you notice that your sexual function changes really quickly from a few months to the next. All right. So what are the outcomes when using Eon? So this is actually a snippet from the clinical trial. And so it talks about how the Eon balances our autonomic nervous system. And so in the y-axis, you're looking at autonomic ratio. And then it says in the x-axis, it says pre-Eon and post-Eon. All right. So, mean average is looking at the black column and medium average is looking at the gray column. And so, as you can see, there is a significant difference there between the median and the mean, which simply means that wearing the Eon is significant in reducing the sympathetic nervous system and stimulating what we just talked about, the parasympathetic nervous system. So bringing yourself back to center, bringing yourself back into balance. And this produces the results that we have grown to know and love in regards to wearing the Eon. All right, so what are your next steps? How should you be wearing this Eon patch? And these are Dr. Jeff's favorite ways to wear the Eon, and I encourage you to wear them as well. So first is if you have any challenges whatsoever in getting restful sleep, or if you just like to wind down and relax in the evening, putting a Eon right here on the third eye in the center of the forehead at governing vessel 24.5 is dynamite. It will definitely help you to sleep, and it will definitely help you to get restful sleep. Point number 2, you can utilize this patch to reduce inflammation, swelling, and pain on joints, on muscle tissue, especially in combination with glutathione. They are a powerful, powerful combination, the two of them. So if you got knees, if you got hips, if you got ankles, if you have a back issue, if you have a headache, if you have sinus pressure, any of those things, I've seen countless situations where that's been dramatically improved by wearing Eon or the combo of Eon and glutathione. And finally, applying to the back of the neck at governing vessel 14 or beneath the navel at conception vessel 4. This in general is going to just impact stress, anxiety, grief, and fatigue. All right. So those would be the 3 areas that I would begin to use the patch, but I am such a huge proponent for doing your own experimentation and understanding how these patches interact with your body and your physiology. So the best way to go about it is to simply try it, use it, and write down the results so that you understand what are the best ways to go about it and which ways aren't. All right. So just in general, preventative wellness and lifestyle changes are going to be the best and most effective way to approach a quality state of health. And that's what I love about these patches. Regardless of any of the other strategies that you have to achieve optimal health and wellness, you can add these patches to the mix, and they're going to rev up whatever you're already doing. And so whether that's just spending time with your family and social stuff, whether that's meditation and spiritual wellness, whether that's physical health and exercising, whether that's, changing your nutrition and your diet, all of these ways are great strategies. And the Eon fits perfectly with any of these particular strategies in achieving health improvement. So here's the opposite of what we were talking about earlier. So we were talking about how disease states develop. This is how you achieve homeostasis and the advantageous pathway to make sure that you're in a good state of health. So healthy diet, appropriate physical exercise, taking care of yourself is going to lead to keeping that inflammation low. And having, as we saw, having healthy autonomic nervous system function. If you add in, the beneficial lifestyle habits, making sure your nutrition is appropriate, making sure your hydration is appropriate, making sure your psycho-emotional health is appropriate, and you're properly managing that stress, you can achieve homeostasis. And when you're in homeostasis, your atherosclerosis and plaque buildup is minimal. The stress on your organs are minimal, and every part and tissue and cell in your body is going to get proper oxygenation. And that leads to, proper management and maintenance of your physiology, and hopefully prevents all the types of diseases that many of us are suffering from as we speak. All right, that is going to conclude my discussion for today. Thank you so much for your attention. And I just added this image just to say that just one slight movement can take stress and turn it into wellness. So if there's any questions about what we discussed this evening, let's take a few moments and entertain those.
I have a question.
I'm listening.
How is Aeon different from Nirvana? Because isn't Nirvana similar?
Nirvana is actually very similar in its effect. However, the way that it works is significantly different. It works on the pituitary gland to help to stimulate endorphins. So it's going to be more of a mood enhancer whereas Eon is going to be more of a stress reducer and an anxiety reducer.
Okay.
But I think that when you're wearing both consistently, I think it just brings you into a happier and healthier state. And I don't know that you can really tell the difference. I personally think that Nirvana takes a little bit longer to kick in, maybe a couple of days, versus Eon, which within the first 30 minutes to an hour, I notice a significant difference when I wear it.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. All right, guys, any more questions? If not, we can go ahead and cruise into the next section of the discussion for this evening. And again, thank you so much for your attention. I hope that this was helpful and that you got a little bit more detail about how Eon does its thing.
Okay. Can we have the full screen back, Dr. Jeff? All right. Thank you. I was kind of disappointed at myself when I did the introduction to Dr. Jeff, because I thought I shortchanged him a little bit. And then all of a sudden he started speaking and I said, he's everything that I said he was. He's smart. He's enthusiastic for what he does. He has a passion for what he does and how he says it. He takes the information that's so scientific and he breaks it down to layman's terms so we can all understand it. And, he's just, like I said, he's just one cool dude. So we surely appreciate the opportunity, Dr. Hubbard, for you taking the time out to educate us on Aeon. And I don't know how many new folks are on board or anything like that. I'm going to horn in and show you this little spot on my head right here. And I did something stupid last night. I had about 4 beers more than I should have had. And I woke up this morning going, oh my gosh, this is not gonna work. And so I immediately stuck on an Aeon right here. Aeon, I put it right here. I feel great. I have, I was symptomatic and, of a little slight hangover. I didn't have any, and I don't like to take any medicine or anything like that, but I stuck the Aeon on and I feel wonderful. I already know I have a full day ahead of me today. And like I said, shame on me for thinking that I could go out there and have a couple of beers. Well, more than I should have had. But anyway, I'm a walking testimony today that it doesn't take 30 minutes for it to work. Within 15 minutes, I was feeling great. So I'm not giving you a prescription to go out and drink and then put an Aeon on, but I'm saying if you have a senior moment or you have a lapse in judgment or whatever, and you go out and you tie one on the night before, use Aeon. So I just want to thank Dr. Jeff for his presentation. And we also have a few folks on board who they were the winners of the 5-day experience from a couple of months ago. And we just want to hear what they briefly has to say about their 5-day experience. And I believe we have Miss Sherry on, and Chuchi, you can introduce the individuals that's on board so they can give their testimony. Take yourself off mute. Oh. There we go.
Queenie, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Queenie,
Yes, we can.
So will you please give your presentation, which you did last time? Can you just say yes if you have it, or you're there? She's not talking. Maybe Cherry can start, the recipient of Eva. Whoever is ready.
Oh. Don't be shy. Okay.
How about Judith? Judith, are you there? Can you hear us? Judith,
I think Cherry is trying. I think Cherry's trying to unmute herself. Oh, unmute yourself, Cherry. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. when I first got those patches, I was kind of skeptical, you know, another one of those things. But I tried them, and the general effect for me was better sleep. For the first time, I told you before, for the first time in my life, I slept straight for 7 hours. Well, that was the first and last time, I think. But I noticed that ever since I used those patches, I've been able to sleep well. At least I wake up in the usual, you know, the time that people like me get up 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock. But I'm able to go back to sleep right away. And it's a restful sleep. I mean, I don't toss and turn. So that's my takeaway at the moment from those first 5 patches that I had, was that my sleep has been so much better. I'm still, well, like I said, I'm still willing to try it a second time to see what else it can do for me.
I don't mean to put you on the spot on this one, Cherry. Would you please be so kind to share your age with you? Because you said something that I think was really powerful. And I know the inside of how old you are, but I want the group to hear how old you are. You said for the first time in your life. So how old are you?
92.
92.
Yes.
92. My goodness. So what she's saying, and we're not going to question her memory. We're not going to question anything. This lady's telling us for the very first time in her life, and maybe in her 40s or whatever she didn't have good sleep pattern, but right now at this critical age of her life, that she's able to get a good night rest and talk about how peaceful the sleep is. And I believe that's with her using the Aeon patch. So we really appreciate the testimony, and because I could go on, and Dr. Hubbard and Jocelyn and the team could go on and on, but just for you to take that 5-day experience and you notice something within the first 5 days that you use the patch is awesome, not only for the patch, but it's awesome for individuals who are online or on this call to hear. So we appreciate it. And sidebar, we do have that second phase of patches that you asked for on the way. So we have that coming to you, okay?
Okay, good. Let's hope I get more this time. The other thing was, one of my problems is pins and needles in the legs, no? So I tried putting, I don't remember whether it was Aeon or glutathione between the big toe and the second toe.
Yes.
The first time I did it, you do it twice, no? But the first time that I put it on, I didn't get any pins and needles during the night. But the second time, it was there. I mean, it worked for me only for once. The next time it didn't work for me. So that's why I said I'm willing to try anything. I'm a risk taker, so I'll try it a second time.
You didn't get to be 92 without taking a few risks. So we appreciate you giving us the opportunity to take a chance on us, and we'll make sure that you get some additional patches. I've already spoke to Ava about it, and we're gonna get you some more patches, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Chuchi, did we have the other?
Queenie, I think I just talked to her. She's open.
Okay, Queenie, we're ready to hear from you now.
How about Judith? But I just talked to Queenie. She was on before.
Okay. Judith, are you there?
Queenie or Judith? Oh, who's that? Is that Queenie?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, here we go. Please. Hey, Queenie.
Hi. I tried those patches for I think 3 days, and actually I already gave a report previously. I think that was last week. I'm not sure.
Ago.
Yeah. the only thing that I noticed was my my sleep. So it was really restful, and I found out that my REM, every time I look for I have a watch, so it records my REM, and it's longer now. It's close to like an hour. Usually it was like probably around 15 minutes only or 20. So now it's like it's like 53. It goes to 61, and then sometimes 58. So it was longer. So I felt better when I woke up. I'm more energized, and yeah, that was it. And then also I recall the burping. So it was less because I know I have acid in my stomach. So I think the Aeon and the gluta together combined, I think it helped me. Yeah, that was my experience for the one that I had.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with the group. We did hear from you earlier, but it's always good to hear it again.
Don't have any health issues except that my problem is I'm insomnia. I sleep really late. So now I sleep earlier. I sleep around 10:30. So that's better for me because I used to sleep like midnight or 1 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that was the one that I noticed with the patch.
Okay. Well, and it kind of addresses the issue what Dr. Hubbard talked about during the presentation, lack of sleep, how,
Yes.
you know, if you continue to be a night owl or you're losing that sleep, now you find yourself not going to bed at midnight, but you're going to bed at 10:30. And so that's an hour and a half difference.
The reason for going to bed really late is the stress, during the day. So now I think it's less stress for me if I take the patch.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. And thank you for that the feedback and the testimony. Again, there may be a few first timers on here who are hearing this, and what you're saying is lining up exactly with what Dr. Hubbard did in his presentation. And I like the last cube you put in, Dr. Hubbard, about wellness and stress and how they go back and forth. So that was excellent. Chuchi, is there someone else?
I don't know if Judith, I couldn't get through to her. I don't know, but she promised to join us.
Okay.
She's not giving any indication that she is able to hear me. But Judith, if you're around, you please give your report. This is the time to give it. Thank you. Judith, bye-bye. No, she can't hear.
That's okay. That's quite okay because we're running close on time anyway on what we want to do. So we want to start wrapping this up anyway. So we'll catch her next time. Okay. So and thank you, ladies, for coming on, giving your testimony. We really appreciate the you giving us the opportunity to allow you to use the patch, but for you to actually give us the results of how the patch is working for you. So we appreciate that. And then we'll make sure that we get back with you also on how you can continue to get the patches to move forward with your health and wellness. Dr. Hubbard, back to you, sir.
So I want to echo that. Thanks, ladies, for sharing testimonies. They're the lifeblood of our organization. We've got the science and the studies and all of that good stuff, but the proof is in the pudding, right? And so if you guys were able to have some benefits, I'm really excited to see what happens when you're consistently wearing the technology because it really builds upon itself. It has a cumulative effect. So the more that you wear it, the more your body gets comfortable with it, the more you'll notice, all right? So looking forward to hearing about the experiences you have when we can get you some more patches, okay? So guys, I'm really so excited. I'm glad we had a fairly decent turnout. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people reviewing this recording on YouTube later, but Patches and Prayers is a movement. And
Dr. Jeff, excuse me, can I question?
sure.
If you have acid reflux, what would you suggest?
Of the patch.
Yeah,
Which
what
patch?
patch?
The carnosine
And where?
patches. Right at the bottom of your breastbone, right above your stomach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eon or glutathione? Aeon or which?
Carnosine, actually.
Carnosine.
Yeah, so that's another one that you did not get a chance to experience yet. So we got 12 different patches. That's one of the 12 that I know particularly is really good for reflux and issues with digestion. Indigestion probably is a better way to put it.
Thank you.
Welcome. Cedric alluded to this earlier, that there is definitely a spiritual component that we have noticed. All of us that consistently wear the patches have some story with ourselves or a family member or an extended member of our circle of influence who has a great testimony and seems to have a connection that really is not quite understood and explained properly through our normal scientific lens. And so that leads me to believe that there's a spiritual element as well as a scientific element to what happens when you're consistently wearing this technology. And that sort of thought process is what birthed Patches and Prayers. And so we're on a mission to really raise awareness about health and wellness in the Philippines and really kind of usher in a new sort of way about being healthier and achieving all of your health goals and aspirations with the patches. And so we encourage each and every one of you, if you have yet to consider, or if you may not know, we are accepting members into our organization, and there's a small membership fee in the amount of $5. That equates to, I believe it's 250 pesos in the Philippines. And that just helps us with some of the organizational responsibilities, maintaining our website, supporting some of our efforts and these events that we'll continue to do every other month. We are really working diligently to reach out to the community in the Philippines to make them aware about our efforts. We're really starting to target doctors and nurses and other healthcare professionals to let them know about the technology and how valuable it can be for their patients and their clients. And through our efforts, we hope to really make a very powerful impact, not just in the Philippines, but in Southeast Asia as a whole. So if you are moved by this mission and passionate about the same things we are, we encourage you to join us in our efforts, and just wanted to make that known and give that opportunity. So please join or visit patchesandprayers.com. You can leave your information. We'll reach out to you with more detail and information about what membership looks like, but we definitely wanted to take a few moments and really explain why the existing group is so excited and passionate about this. All right. So back to you, Cedric.
Thank you, Dr. Hubbard. Cynthia, are you there? Did we lose Cynthia?
Sorry, I was weak.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I was gonna say, wait a minute. This is one of the most important parts. So we've heard about the patches, and now we're gonna talk about the spirituality, and we're gonna hand it over to Cynthia Lazo.
Thank you, Cedric. Dr. Hubbard had mentioned that this is a movement, Patches and Prayers is a movement, but I really deeply believe that it is also a spiritual movement where we're going, because we're all concerned about family life, about helping others. And it's with the love of God and our sharing with our neighbors that we are able to be in obedience to our good Lord. And that's how we now are able to get ourselves together and work for this movement. And if I may just share with you my own experience about holistic healing. Several years back, when I found out that was interested in holistic healing. I actually attended a convention. It's healing modalities from womb to tomb. It's healing in modalities from womb to tomb. And what really caught my attention was the healing modality on forgiveness. And this is what I found out. And not knowing really that I would be going through that kind of experience. One day in my life with my employment in the government, I went into anxiety attack because of pressure from my bosses. And this is what I noticed when I got up from my bed. I was all nervous, and then I just fell on the bed. And I realized, I said, I cannot have these negative feelings with me because I was created by God in His image. Then I thought about getting rid of the negativity. Then I came to realize with prayer, Holy Spirit came upon me, and I was told, forgive, forgive, forgive. So what I did was I spent time doing meditation, doing my prayer, and I particularly went to the Blessed Sacrament. But even with my condition, when I went to the doctor, I was given some pills which I refused. And you know what healed me? After I forgave those people who hurt me and following visits to the Blessed Sacrament, I released myself of all the negative. I got healed very, very fast. And just briefly, how was I introduced to these patches? It was actually Cedric who approached me about 1.5 years back. And then I thought to myself, hey, I'm retired and I don't want, I want peace and quiet. But after the Spirit came to me, and I was introduced, I saw the Holy Eucharist being carried by 2 angels with a pair of palms underneath. Then it changed to the precious blood of Jesus, still with the palms underneath. Then I saw the faces of Dr. Hubbard, the face of Dr. Hubbard, the face of Cedric. Then about 1.5 weeks after I got a call from Cedric, I said yes. Just with reference to what Dr. Hubbard had mentioned earlier about autonomic dysfunction, now I could understand better what happened to me. And that was how I got released of all my negativities. It starts with ourselves. And knowing also I have been taken care by an acupuncture doctor before. So I believe that because we are the temples of the Holy Spirit, we have to take care of ourselves, physically. But at the same time, we have to support this with prayer. I may now share with you prayer. This is a prayer for those who have hurt. Dear Jesus, I implore you, that the meekness and love of your Sacred Heart bestow your most precious gifts and graces on those who caused me pain or have ever hurt me in the past. Forgive them, Lord. And if by chance they have offended you, or if they have shown me their dislike, show them your loving face. Give them, O Lord, your blessing in return for words they speak against me, either to my face or behind my back. And if some bear a grudge against me, for any reason whatever, pour into them your holy love, in order that, while bearing my crosses, I may be pleasing to your sacred heart. Give me patience and meekness, and love and courageous perseverance. I offer you these acts of sincere love, together with all the troubles they might cause me. I offer them for their happiness, for their greater progress in virtue, and that they may reach a higher degree of eternal glory. I offer them in union with the sufferings of your heart and with the love with which you have loved and still love all who have inflicted pain on me. Jesus, accept my services, and in your infinite mercy, and have mercy on me. Amen. This is quoting Reverend John Rutherford, S.J. And if you will allow me, I'd further go to prayer for personal healing. Loving God, I come to you in prayer, seeking the blessing of good health, that I may serve your divine Son more faithfully and love him with greater sincerity. I wish to be well and strong, and that I may use the talents and gifts you have given me in your honor, in service to my family, and for the good of others. Help me to bear patiently with illness and to grow always in your wisdom and grace. Amen. And lastly, if I may, just remember this. Remember, when you forgive, you heal. And when you let go, you grow. Thank you, Cedric. That ends my sharing.
Man, thank you, Cynthia. That was awesome. And I know that, well, it touched my heart. So I can't speak for everyone, but I know that, again, that was our whole mission with Patches and Prayers. Not only the physical healing, but the mental and the spiritual healing. And I too am guilty of not forgiving sometimes. So I know that the Bible says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So if there's any revenge that needs to be taken, then we're going to let the Lord do it. And what we're going to do is have a forgiving heart. And so if there is not anything else, are there any questions or concerns before I give it back to Dr. Hubbard so he can say his final statements and we'll wrap it up? Does anyone have anything to say or to add, or we can do this now? Okay, well, with that in mind, let me say thank you for everyone who came on board this morning and this evening. We look forward to seeing you in June. We also look forward to your participation on an ongoing basis. You can always tap into Patches and Prayers. This particular webinar is being recorded, so you can always go back and listen to it. There's some powerful information. We also have the month from February, we have Dr. Ami's with glutathione. So we're building a library of what the patches can do, knowing that the X39 is the rock star and the X49 will be the rock star, and they're going to be talking about that. But our whole approach was talking about the ancillary patches and how they work for us and hand in hand with us and how they enhance our health. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you guys coming on board. And then we're going to let Dr. Hubbard have the final statement. Thank you, guys. God bless.
I actually think Dr. Ami had something to say.
Yes, I was going to ask if they, if they pay $250 for their membership, what do they get?
So basically, it is. I don't know. I thought I heard somebody. So basically, you get access to all of our archive videos, and we're going to be building more content in our library. Also, we're trying to structure something to give discounts on patches And, obviously you have the insight and direction of all of us and those who've been kind of a part of the core group for quite some time now. So the membership is going to evolve as we continue to grow, but those are the basic framework for what we're trying to provide at this moment.
So they can get patches, they can order patches at a discounted rate.
Mhm.
Okay, that should be it. Thank you.
Ma'am, and
I'm sorry, and real quickly, before you say Dr. Hubbard, one of the things that we want you to do, Dr. Ami, is as these webinars go forward, where we'll be bundling packages of patches together, because again, sometimes you don't need a sleeve of 30 or whatever, or maybe you will need a sleeve of 30, but in particular, like Miss Cherry, we want to make sure that it's socioeconomically advantageous to members who join. So that also gives us a chance to reach out to individuals and get patches to them at a discount rate. So, which I think is important. That was one of the things that we started this also. So we will continuously build our inventory of patches, and then we'll be able to share them with our members who join at a discounted rate, and then get them out there to them via LBC or the other delivery mechanisms that we have. And then we're working on a component for our counterparts in the United States to be members also. So, and what's important is not only am I a participant in Patches and Prayers, but I too will get my membership in, because I think it's important that if I believe in the product and believe in the membership, I need to be a member also. So you will see my name as one of the members also, because I believe in it. And Dr. Hubbard, I'm gonna turn it back over to you.
Same here. I echo those sentiments. All of the members should be contributing and making sure that we're putting our best foot forward to provide service and resources for our team. And so, also, I think it's a knowledge exchange too, Dr. Ami. I think that's one of the things that needs to be stated as well, is that, we really want to make sure that everyone's properly educated on how to wear the patches and exactly what they do and what wearing them in different acupuncture locations is going to do for you, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of perks that I think are involved, and we're still working through all the details, but those are the basics. And so, guys, I'm going to just wrap things up by saying, wow, what a powerful message from Cynthia. There is something very interesting about the way our body responds to our emotions and our thoughts. And one of the most telling ones is grief and regret. And that seems to manifest itself in some really powerful illnesses. We won't go into detail on those, but forgiveness, and not just forgiving other people, but forgiving ourselves, is also a really, really powerful message. And thank you so much for that. That was right on time, and I think so fitting for our Eon discussion. So we had a great tag team there. And so, guys, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining and taking the time to share space. I absolutely love having these conferences and sharing this awesome technology with each and every one of you. And so whether you're here live with us or whether you're going to be listening to this later, thank you. And we will be back in June with our third installment. We will keep you posted about the details and our presenter and all of that good stuff. And I just want to let everybody know that I will be in the Philippines in July, and I hope to make everyone's acquaintance and really make it a dynamic event. We're planning to have an awesome presentation specifically for healthcare providers, but it's open to any and everyone who's a Lifewave enthusiast or is already a part of the Lifewave family. So really looking forward to traveling. I'm a travel junkie. I've yet to be to Southeast Asia and to the Pacific. So get ready because I'm coming. So I'm going to let you guys go. It's getting late here in the US, and I'm sure you guys are getting ready to have an amazing Saturday. I hope that each and every one of you who's capable can really go to this X49 launch. I think it's going to be simply amazing. And I'm just wrapping my head around the science of X49. And so that's even more exciting to kind of understand how that patch is going to, help with all of the other patches that we already know so much about. All right, guys. So we'll see you soon. Thank you so much, and have a great
Thank you.
night or a great afternoon.
Thank you. Keep the bow tie.
Dr. Hubbard.
See you later, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.